Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our CareSoft ServiceNow webinar today. We have two speakers with us, Stephanie Hammond with ServiceNow, as well as Lisa Coates with ServiceNow. This webinar is being recorded and a copy will be emailed to you all afterwards. We also have a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to answer any or enter any questions you all may have throughout this presentation there, and we will do our best to answer them all at the end of this presentation. Your lines have been muted just to reduce any kind of background noise during this presentation. So please, if you need to reach out, use that Q&A down there and we will help you all out. At this time, I'll go ahead and pass it over to our speakers today. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks so much for joining this webinar about how to manage a safe and efficient workspace in this new normal environment that we find ourselves in with COVID-19. I'm Stephanie Hammond. I'm a solution sales executive here at ServiceNow, and I'm coming from the Pentagon, from OSD, where since March of 2020, I served on the DoD COVID-19 task force. So I'm very familiar with the COVID-19 requirements that have been placed on the department, and I'm looking forward to this discussion for the next 60 minutes that we have together to talk about how you in your workplace can set up safe and efficient office spaces to respond to those immediate requirements for COVID-19 and those longer term workplace management opportunities that you have to facilitate a more hybrid work environment. So with that, Lisa Gatz, I'll pass it over to you for a moment to go over your background.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again, Stephanie. And thanks for your time today. My name is Lisa Getz. I am a solutions consultant for the employee workflows team. I've been with ServiceNow for the past year and a half in this role, supporting demonstrations. In my 30+ year career, I've been working with HR solutions as a programmer, as a project manager in implementations, and also as sales support. And in that vein, have been able to see how state, local, and federal governments use the solutions for HR and how that impacts their employees.
Right. Thank you, Lisa. So this is a timely discussion that we have today. Just a few days ago, the Biden administration announced recent COVID-19 requirements for the federal workforce. And these involved everything from a vaccine verification form to the option of testing, wearing a mask, continued social distancing. And then there also was OPM guidance that was issued last month about continued teleworking options, and then that return to work models. They want each federal department and agency to come forward with that longer term plan. So we're going to do a deeper dive into striking that balance between, okay, what are those immediate COVID-19 requirements in front of you right now with the changing COVID dynamics, with ongoing public health measures that you need to account for, and then that longer term new normal environment that you find yourselves in, and operationalizing those hybrid work environments and providing that seamless structure for your workplace management. So with that, I'm going to show a few intro slides here. And then during our demo, we're going to show how this workplace service delivery application modernizes the employee experience at work. I'm then going to pass it over to Lisa Getz to step us through a demo of the application so you can see in real time, first of all, how to manage a safe workplace in the hybrid environment. We're going to go over how to create that policy awareness, measure employee readiness, vaccine and health tracking, contact tracing, managing your PPE inventories, and then secondly, hoteling and facilities case management, and focus on how to operationalize this hybrid work environment. So with these new requirements and guidance, we're seeing that those within DoD are wrestling with these types of questions that you're seeing there. So starting on your left, how can we distribute the latest policies and procedures so guidance is consistent and there's one easy place to go for the latest information? Can we track employee readiness about reentry and quickly conduct employee surveys? How can safety measures be widely and quickly communicated? Then in regards to returning to the workplace, can my team reserve a workspace? What about if visitors need to come on site down the road? Are we optimizing our office space in the most efficient way, especially if more employees are teleworking? And can we automate office or conference room cleaning schedules? Then as far as your ongoing health considerations, how are we tracking health statuses? Are testing and vaccination oversight being managed? And do we have a response process for any outbreaks that might occur? Then in looking at the workplace of the future and this new normal, DoD components are reviewing how to better operationalize this workplace reentry. And ServiceNow has existing tools in place to help you organize your transition to this longer term hybrid workforce. And we do this by enabling seamless self-service digital experiences for a safer, more productive workplace, both when teleworking and when in the office. So at ServiceNow, we're all about creating this great experience, for your employees at work. And the federal government is really recognizing that providing this increased flexibility with teleworking is a demand signal that's coming from their workforce, especially right now. And it was interesting, the OPM director said in their recent guidance that was issued at the end of July, the guidance on post-reentry personnel policies, that, quote, agencies can, where appropriate, deploy personnel policies such as telework and remote work effectively and efficiently as strategic management tools for attracting, retaining, and engaging talent to advance agency missions and in response to long-term workforce trends. So when we want to help you more efficiently compete in the open marketplace to recruit and retain this top talent to drive your mission. And we're finding that employees want these more flexible work options. So how can the ServiceNow platform help you make the world of work better for your people? So this messy picture here represents how many DoD components unfortunately run their operations. And as you can see, it's all over the place. You just don't have this complexity to deal with. You have all the systems and technologies that exist around and between various departments here to deal with. And then to make matters worse, these respective systems of record that support each individual department can't communicate with one another. And so you see operational silos result, and it adversely impacts workforce efficiency. So the world of work doesn't need to be as time consuming and as frustrating as all this. So the challenge is, how do you actually link these systems, these technologies and departments together so work flows naturally? So check this out. There's a common integration hub for digital workflows that makes work better across any enterprise. And that mess that you saw earlier would now look like this with ServiceNow. So if you will imagine with me, if you could actually link these systems and departments together through technology without any care to how departments, org charts, and existing technologies dictate. So with ServiceNow, our Now platform handles that back-end complexity while your day-to-day business operations are seamless and simple, like you're seeing here. And here's how we do it. So starting at the bottom of this slide here, For government operations to truly leverage all these systems effectively, we need to collaborate, have that common integration hub that allows for communication across any system or infrastructure that you may already have, whether that be Salesforce, SAP, Splunk, what have you. And then what's unique about ServiceNow is this. We are that single platform for every part of your component that integrates existing technology and makes workflow smoothly across every element of your organization. We're that single cloud platform with one platform, one data model, one architecture, as well as many built-in powerful capabilities, such as the ability to easily build cross-enterprise workflows. So ServiceNow connects various departments, creating a seamless enterprise system of action that integrates silos and systems, and then enabling that greater employee experience and operational agility. And then our digital workflows, so IT workflows, employee workflows, and so on, unlock a system of action for your workforce, and as opposed to just a multitude of siloed systems of record. Now, in their time of need, employees can easily answer questions that they have, and this platform is easy for them to use. It's intuitive. So we all want these great experiences for our employees. They're critical, of course, to the success of achieving your mission. And leadership knows that strong team morale matters. And these great experiences for employees drive this powerful loyalty and engagement. And we also understand too that you're looking for ways to be able to do more with less, to deal with increased workloads, establish those immediate savings, and then to deal with shifts and employment needs. So let's now take a closer look at how ServiceNow can help you achieve your workplace services priorities. And here in front of you are all the different components of our health response application that are built on top of this Now platform that we went over. So starting at the top there, this application allows you, one, to prepare the workforce by configuring socially distanced workspaces and automating those cleaning tasks. It also provides self-service space reservations. I remember from my previous days working at the Pentagon with just how difficult it was to simply reserve a conference room. So now your team can seamlessly book any room you put on the application, along with individual office spaces. Verify health and vaccination status. And this is going to be much more of a focus due to the administration's announcement late last week for that vaccine verification form. So this application allows you to upload any forms onto the application. Contact tracing for any health outbreaks, we'll go over that more in the demo. And then through dashboards, you can track data, see metrics for more informed management and leadership decisions. Then as we turn to workplace management, and that facilities management, we'll talk about what really are the office essentials that replace those manual dated office processes with workflows and automation that ultimately free up time for the team. And some applications for this are if there are any facilities issues with HVAC systems, the ability for employees to report any safety issues they might be seeing in the building. Managing which employees are teleworking, which ones are in the office, where they are sitting in the office. Then when we talk about workplace service delivery, we do take this very concerted, employee-focused approach. The employees need services. This application routes work to the appropriate person for action, and it's really simple for any employee to use. Then during the demo, we'll also show you how you and your teams can go into the system and pick the right office space, select the right amenities you need. So whether that's projector, speakers, or maybe even food delivery if you're having a larger gathering. And then with our workplace case management, this enables your workplace service teams to manage their service interactions with employees. And so they don't need to rely on those generic tools like emails, phone calls, or walk-ups. It allows them then to standardize all the documentation, the interaction, the fulfillment of these various employee inquiries that are coming in, while having that greater visibility into the quantity and types of cases coming in. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Lisa Gatz. At the end of our demo here, we will, of course, have an opportunity to answer any questions. I encourage you all to raise your hand, type questions into the chat box, and we will take them as we come. Lisa, over to you.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. And thank you again for your time today, everybody. I'd like to start our demo and our tour of the Safe Workplace and Workplace Service Delivery solutions with sort of the end result, the data that can be captured and how we can help present it to your teams. And this first item is showing how we can represent all of the different sites within your organization, if you're global, if you are local, and represent the overall readiness and reopening stages of different areas in your organization. You can also have a quick view on the left-hand side of alerts and other types of readiness statistics as well at a glance. So this is helping your safety team, your administrators, help making them decisions on overall readiness. On top of that, we can layer in up-to-date CDC information on locations and COVID severity in those areas. As I drill in, I can start seeing other and multiple locations that might be within this particular area. And as I drill in a little bit further, I can start seeing local sentiment analysis on the areas of on those particular offices. Now, this data was captured from a combination of surveying individuals and getting their response on whether or not they are ready to go back to the office, what is their current health status. And we have some other dashboard items here that are also helping your administrators see the COVID related information that's current in that particular area. As I scroll down, in some other areas that we're going to cover today also include contact tracing. So that's the ability to allow users to self-report, or during a scan, if perhaps they have a temperature or they're reporting that they're having symptoms, that can trigger a contact tracing case that can also gather information from badge readers, from location check-ins, even self-reporting from that particular user, that can allow that data to be gathered together and allow the contact tracer case manager to take action, inform these other individuals that they were exposed to somebody who had reported a positive. In addition, we can also help enable your teams to do entry health monitoring. So to be able to take temperatures or to collect whether or not somebody has PPE, personal protective equipment, as they're coming in. Do they have a mask? Do they have gloves? Do they have other types of areas, other types of safety related equipment? In addition, especially in a hybrid workplace, although we can also track space permanence, meaning somebody who is associated with a particular desk or a space in your organization, they can also have reservations. So we can allow your users to reserve a desk, a conference room, a parking spot, and also take care of all of the complex services that go along with that. Making sure those spaces are clean, for example, allowing them to do other types of requests about those services, like ordering catering or a projector or other types of needs that they might need asset-wise for that particular space. And what happens if there's something wrong with that space? What if there's a broken pipe, or that place hasn't been cleaned, or there's an electrical problem? We can also allow them to report and record those issues directly from their mobile phone, for example. Also making sure that you have PPE inventory on hand if you're tracking that, along with our workflow technology that can allow you to have minimum amounts of requirements and automatically schedule orders for that PPE if it becomes below a certain threshold. And then making sure all of the case management and cleaning activities are taken care of that go along with those reservations. Now what I'd like to do is show you how we can start capturing some of that information. And I'd like to switch roles from an administrator who's taking a look at the overall readiness to a user, a standard employee, a manager, actually any role within the organization, and how they can help self-report their readiness in the organization. So I've logged on to my ServiceNow application as my primary user, Maria Davies. And at the very bottom, I can see that I also have a menu that's representing my health. So as I tap on that, you can start seeing a variety of actions that this particular user can do, starting with the ability to submit a privacy consent. So in order to opt in to contact tracing, to reporting their vaccination in this case, you can add all of the information that you would like to add to inform them about that information, allow them to consent, which I've already done in this case, but this would also allow me to withdraw that consent if I changed my mind. Another thing you can have your users do, and Maria will do in this case, is submit a health survey. Now, this health survey can be pushed proactively through a text message or through an email, and she can start responding to whether or not she is ready to report back into the workforce. That was driving some of the analytics that you were seeing before, the overall sentiment analysis. So we can say whether or not they have traveled in the past month, for example, and also allow them to describe their current status and whether or not they are ready to come in. And the other point that I want you to be aware of is that these questions and the responses are completely configurable according to how you are going to be evaluating this survey information. So in this case, we can collect their sentiment analysis and allow them to complete that survey directly from their phone or from the desktop application that I'll be showing you as well. Another thing that you can also do is allow them to verify their health. ServiceNow just had a meeting at our home office in McLean, and we actually had to go through this process and verify our health, acknowledge that we didn't have any particular symptoms. And then from there, we were able to get a QR code that was going to allow us to be screened and scanned into the location when we arrived. So this is another way that we can help you control who has been pre-screened and who is reporting a healthy status. As I go through, you can also see things like requesting PPE, or filling out their daily contacts of who have they been in contact with for that particular day. This can help us drive the contact tracing type of activities as well. In addition, we can also allow you to connect with COVID-19 providers so they can schedule their appointment directly from this, as well as being able to report their vaccination history. Again, if they opt in through that privacy consent. All of this, again, is going to allow them to get that overall office entry code and allow them to be checked in. So that's a little bit about how users can self-report directly on their phone or mobile device to be able to work with you to gather that type of information. Now I'd like to move over into the desktop experience, and all of those types of activities are also available here, so that so I can use any type of sourcing to collect that information. But what we can also allow you to do is to advertise or to push out policy updates, as Stephanie was mentioning before. And you can see on this banner page at the top, and again, this could also be a push notification if you need to. We can also push your organizational updates. which might include policy and practice information, your current information that you're following, and this can be updated in a living document as these rules change for your organization. In addition, we can add additional links to other articles, to other services. And as Stephanie was mentioning, this could even be a link to one of the new documents that were part of some of these new executive orders that might be coming out, so that they can download that document directly and resubmit that document when it's completed. So keep in mind, making sure that employees are informed with the type of information that they need is a big part of what we can allow you to do with ServiceNow. What we can also allow your users to do is, perhaps in this scenario, my employee Maria has gone through and read the company policies. She's submitted and gotten her QR code for entry into the organization. She also might be setting up an appointment with somebody from the outside. So we also have the ability to register a guest. And as I use on the upper left-hand corner, this Google-like search, I can search for things like other services that will allow me to provide details about that guest. So I can say that this person is here for training. I can identify the date that they are coming. They'll be there for all day. And this visitor has been there before, so we have collected some information about that visitor as well that would pre-fill out this information and allow them to be registered. What this is going to do later is this is going to make sure that your security in your lobbies are informed about this guest who's coming in, and they can check in. It's also going to be sending this guest an email notification that can allow them to have more information about their visit. They can also perhaps get a map and other information, even a Wi-Fi code, to make sure that they are able to have connectivity when they arrive as well. In addition, Maria has gone ahead and registered her guest, but she's also hoping to be able to formally request teleworking. So again, another service that we can help you configure is a telework request that can be embedded with other types of verification, making sure that they have the right security network within their home. Did they receive the right type of training in order to be an effective teleworker? As well as making sure that they have they've read and submitted the policy guidelines and privacy awareness training. So in terms of self-serving and making sure that there's visibility on your workers, we can formalize this process to help you help your users be remote and be present in this hybrid workspace. The next item I wanted to show you is some of our hoteling capabilities. And that's the ability to allow your users to make a formal reservation for a space in your organization. And that's what you're about to see. So this is the ability, and I can also do this on my mobile device, to reserve a space. And in terms of a space, we'll consider a space a conference room, a desk, but that can even be expanded out into being a car service or parking facility, or even a recreation or a storage locker that you might also want to have. So you feel free to think outside the box on the type of spaces that can be part of the reservation process. When the user has made a decision of the kind of space that they're going to reserve, for example, a conference room, they can also search based on different types of needs that they might have. They might want to be on a particular floor. They might want to have a projector in the room, for example. They might have other services that also they might need to allow them to narrow down the choices that they have. I can also view this from a scheduling perspective. So it will also be able to show me those rooms that are available and also those rooms that might be being used right now. And then finally, I can also view this information from a map view. So this is allowing me to see available spaces in a floor map kind of configuration. So I can see in green which spaces are available, which spaces are booked in red, and I can even hover over them and see who has booked that space for now. So from here, I can go ahead and make a choice. about the room that I'd like to reserve for a specific amount of time. So I'm reserving it for right now for an hour. And then I can go ahead and submit that reservation. It's that simple to allow users to be able to submit that information. From here, I can see that that reservation has been completed. And I can also enforce a mandatory check-in process so that you can have one more physical confirmation that not only are these rooms being reserved, but they're actually being used, and making sure that those aren't being reserved and not being taken care of or not being allocated the way that you're expecting them to. This gives you more visibility on how these spaces are being used overall. So in this case, I would need to check in to allow visibility that I'm actually in that location. And we could take that a couple steps further for things like making sure that if there is an emergency situation, that also can identify who might be where. Now we've gone ahead and done a little bit of discussion about the workplace reservation as well. We also had the ability to report contacts and also to screen users as well. So in the case that I was also allowing somebody in the building who might have been screened or had reported as a positive case of COVID, for example, that can automatically set up a case. And in this view, what you're seeing is a caseworker being able to be informed automatically based on that self-report that there was somebody who had who had COVID and who was tested as positive. What this is then going to do is combine a series of data that could be from badge swipes in a particular room that this user had been reported to be in, or location data or reservation data like you just saw. It could also be from handheld data, so I could self-report that I had a particular contact with that person. And we can gather that information up to start seeing the individuals who could have been in contact with this person during that time frame. What the user can do then is start interviewing each individual to find out their current status. So in this case, we can go ahead and track somebody as under investigation or cleared, or they could perhaps report that they are infected. And in this case, I might be able to create a case or create another task to perhaps start informing the people who might have been involved with this second level person as well. Also, from a batch perspective, I can have the same list of individuals listed at the bottom and then make a decision if I wanted to take action with those employees, like sending them all an informative message to help guide them to submit a current health notification. So as that has timed out. But that gives you an idea of what we can start doing with overall user tracking as well. So from here, what I wanted to do, now that we've gotten a chance to see some of the capabilities of the users, is also to show some helpful information for allowing social distancing. This is the same view of that particular floor, but in this case, we've only opened up every other desk. So this is one way that you can also allow those users to social distance by just making sure that only every other desk is available. What we can also do is to allow these users to only have access to certain areas of the floor. So for example, I can secure this particular user to only have access to a certain number of desks. And this way you can secure by neighborhood, for example, so that the HR team has access to a certain number of desks. The finance team might have another level of desk, and those users would only have visibility to those desks as well. So keep in mind, you will be choosing those different nuances of the reservation process. One other item I just wanted to show you very quickly is, in addition to being able to reserve a room, we can also allow that particular user to reserve other services that might be part of that room. So I'm just going to go back and choose one more so that you could start seeing a little bit about additional services that can be added. So from what we like to think about going on is, from the user's perspective, they just need a space to sit in. They just need a room. And that room also might need additional assets. So we can allow you to designate other types of items that could be in that room. So, and comments. So please turn on projector to warm up before the meeting. So they can allow them to add more feedback about this particular service request. And as I'm adding those services, they're being built in the bottom. I can also add something like catering. So we're going to add lunch, and we're going to add lunch for these 5 people who are going to be part of this meeting. In addition to that, we can start tracking the costs of those lunches, as well as making sure that the appropriate workflows are part of this request too. So I could, in this case, perhaps add a credit card information or a purchasing card to this particular request. And from my perspective, I'm just requesting the services. From the system's perspective, it's taking each one of these requests and in the background workflowing those requests in detail to the people who are responsible for completing those tasks. In addition, behind this request might be something like making sure the facilities team knows to clean that room a half an hour beforehand, or to book a half an hour cleaning time after the meeting that will make sure that nobody else is going to reserve that space after the meeting. Also keep in mind, I could book on behalf of somebody else. So if you have a central admin who is booking these rooms, they can do that as well. But we are supporting the model of allowing employees to self-serve with these particular needs. From here, I can go ahead and submit that reservation that's going to have those additional services as part of that overall request. And again, I can also require somebody to check in, or that could be captured from another action like a badge swipe. So that's a little bit about the overall booking process. And at this point, I'd like to show you some more information from the background that can also help you make decisions and see how this information is being used, or all these rooms are being used. And the first that I'd like to show you is this ability to see the trending information about these rooms, about these reservations, so that can help you make decisions about the second highest expense that you have usually in your organization of your overall real estate, especially at this time when a hybrid workforce is also very, very common. So how are those spaces being used? Are you seeing more reservations of desks or more reservations of conference rooms? Being able to get that information and have that information handy is going to help you make decisions about perhaps reallocating those spaces in those rooms. Perhaps you want to use less single desks and build those into more multi-person rooms for those spaces, because you're seeing that's the demand. You're also able to see per building what type of spaces are being reserved at specific times of the day, perhaps specific floors and specific areas. We're also allowing, we're also going to be coming out with additional enhancements. One already that is allowing you to support space permanence. So physically assigning somebody to a particular office, the more traditional view, and then down the line, the other activities that come along with that, such as making sure that you can manage moves, for example. In addition, being able to see what reservations are happening today. So we're all used to going into a hotel conference center to be able to see what events are happening. This is giving you that type of information and can even be downloaded and pushed to digital signage for a particular room. In addition, being able to see who is checking in and who is not, and who is past the check-in. So that idea of being able to log the number of reservations that have occurred so far, how many people are clicking that check-in button, and who are they? So I'd be able to drill down to be able to see that information, as well as how many people from external visitors are checking in, are coming in. In addition, who is expected to check in today? So being able to see those reservations, as well as the state of those reservations. Was it canceled? Are we still awaiting check-in as well? And I mentioned I can drill down, so all of our reports dive into the live data that can allow me to see the details of those reservations. And as I drill into this reservation, I can see more details about it. And if I have the appropriate authority, I can also start seeing some more data about it as well. Now, in terms of caseworkers, so the additional cases that I had requested, or the additional services, such as catering, such as requests for the projector to be moved, we're allowing your caseworker to have full visibility on that activity as well. So what you can do is wrap around service level agreements, or SLAs, so we can make sure that those requests are fulfilled within a timely manner. And what types of SLAs are overdue and who is responsible for them as well. And what kind of requests are coming in. For example, are these catering requests? Are these issues about the space as well? In addition, what I can start doing is seeing the cases in detail and how they're being managed. So, for example, if there was a report that there was a problem in the room, which I could also do directly from my phone, I can go ahead and see that detailed information about the case, about the complaint or the issue, and have that directly in my dashboards as well. For visitors who are coming in, so I registered a guest when we first started this demonstration. What would the view look like for your security team at the front of your check-in desk? And what they can see are the details about the people who are going to be checking in today. And from here, they can drill in to the person who's checking in. They can check in on the upper right-hand corner. They can even record if they didn't show up. So I can go ahead and check in that user and have that detail available as well. So from here, we've gone through quite a few different examples, starting with this ability to be able to see the overall health of your organization, as well as being able to take a look at what the user can do from a mobile perspective to be able to report their current health status, as well as being able to support hoteling through the reservation process. And in the meantime, being able to allow your users to see your current state of your policies, your current workplace plans and resources, and even the ability to gather current information and form data that might be important for them. Now, we wanted to leave some time at the end for any types of questions and answers, and perhaps anything that you wanted to see a little bit more about in this short demo. So I'd like to just go back to Stephanie to see if there are any questions from the chat that we'd like to address.
Great, thanks so much, Lisa. Let's see, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Does anyone on the line have a question, and we can take you off mute and answer any questions that you might have?
I did receive a question on my end. One was related to, do you have an integration with Outlook?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
No, I'm glad you asked that, because that was something that I also was going to show if there was some questions about that. And we do have a user experience that would allow your users, since they're working in Outlook all the time, I know I spend a bulk of my time in Outlook, why not be able to make reservations as well? So that is an add-in to Outlook that is part of our solution set. And what that will do is push the reservation capability to the Outlook appointment booking process, as well as being able to add additional services such as catering or the other types of requests that you saw as well. What this will do then is that will push all that information back into ServiceNow so that you have one consolidated view of those reservations. But for the user, it's seamless. They're just scheduling another meeting and the additional services, and they'll have that available to them. In addition, we also integrate in a similar way with Teams, Microsoft Teams. So if that is your collaboration platform of choice, to also be able to push that user experience through the Teams view as well.
Great, thank you guys. We have one more as well. For workplace management, can you assign certain staff to only reserve certain rooms? I know you discussed the hoteling. Wanted to see if you could dive a little deeper into that.
Sure, absolutely. So part of this role-based type of user experience is also going to allow you to assign demographics of individuals to certain type of employee groups, and using that low code, no code, basically a table entry saying that Stephanie is in the sales team. We can assign those individuals to different teams, and then assign those teams to only a certain area on the floor that they can make reservations for, and they would be limited to not be able to reserve any other spaces as well. I think it's
Awesome.
also, yeah, and I think it's also important to, since I mentioned the low code, no code, is to emphasize the rapid implementation that's available with these tools. These are pretty much plug and play in terms of getting these stood up and running. The configuration exercise is making sure that we have the information about your buildings and your spaces that are loaded into the system. And we're seeing implementation times in days and weeks, on average 3 to 6 weeks, to implement the pieces that I was showing you today, with very little or no customization. And Stephanie, I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that discussion about implementation.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what sets us apart too from others in this space, is that everything that we've showed you today is that plug and play, as you mentioned, Lisa. And for these existing COVID requirements in particular, and with OPM saying, look, we need more guidance from departments and agencies about that return to work plan and what that's going to look like, that's just key right now, is having something that's rapidly deployable. So we have it ready to go here, and have gotten quite a bit of interest in this application the last several months from those that we work with in this federal space.
And Lisa, Stephanie, we do have one more question for you guys. Where applicable, are you able to protect PII and privileged communication, especially places where like health data is being stored and shared, things like that?
Yes, we are. Thank you for asking that. The employee workflows platform has been built in order to protect that employee information. So it is in an IL4 environment that is going to have that additional level of security for FedRAMP. It's also a scoped application, meaning that the data for employees and PII is not commingled with other areas of the platform or other solutions. As you saw during the demo, we're also adding additional levels of privacy consent that need to be opted in before they can volunteer their data for any of these analytics and any of these reports. So those are just a few ways that we're helping to protect PII.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to that really quickly, both Lisa and I are in the employee workflows family. So going back to that chart that I showed earlier, and one of our primary applications within the employee workflows family is HR service delivery. So this scoped application environment that Lisa mentioned, it was designed to protect that PII information. So we have something unique uniquely fitted to do exactly that and protect and manage that confidential health information that employees would be putting on this application.
Great. Thank you, guys. Well, I think that is all the questions we had for you guys. Did you have anything else you'd like to cover? Anything else we want to address before we close out today?
Yeah, so we'll be sending follow-up information to all those who are on the line. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions or would like to do a deeper dive too into either facilities management, if that's top of mind for you right now, or if the public health requirements too are an immediate requirement that you need to act upon. So let us know how we can come alongside you and meet your needs right now. And thank you everyone for the time that you gave us this afternoon.
Great. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your time.